Hey, welcome to my channel. Um, it let's. I don't know how to break this down. Basically, Blackburn pretty much sucks. When the Mets made the trade from, he was supposed to help out in the long term, but he's not. It's it's become a black hole with Sunga going down in the IL. The Mets need some pitchers. Basically, they have Channing, they have Peterson, and yeah. I mean Channing, Peterson, and um, I forgot his name now. Jesus. What the hell's his name? Give me a second. Channing Peterson and no, Peterson, Canning, and Holmes. Sorry, jeez, my mind's out of it. But anyways, yeah, these aren't your normal run of the mill number one starters. Not even a number two starter, depending. I was hoping Peterson would get to that point, but he's not there, unfortunately. And maybe another year, hopefully. I don't know, but we need a pitch. We need a serious pitcher now, and with McGill out, unfortunately, and with Montas, I don't know what to say about Montas. Quite honestly, I think he's questionable at this point as well too. Minea, you're hoping he comes back and he could help the Mets rotation, but again, they don't have a true number one starter. I don't know. Maybe Mets make Budo a starter, try him out, see how he works out. If he does well, great. If he doesn't, well, then and then he's your middle of the reliever type of person. He's not a starter because we've seen this happen. With Lugo when the Mets had Lugo, he was good as a starter, and then they were using more as in the bullpen. He wanted to be a starter when he went to Kansas City. He was doing really well with Kansas City Royals. So I don't want to have that same situation go with the Mets at this point as well too. Honestly, Budo, if he can be a really good starter, let's try him out. Quite honestly, I don't know. That's my opinion. The same time is you still need that dominant pitcher. You're not gonna have you don't we don't have a dominant pitcher, unfortunately, and that's the sad state we're at. Um, Manea, even if he comes back, he's not a dominant pitcher. He's not your number one starter. Let's be honest. He's not a number one starter. Just like Snuck. Granted, they all have like low ERAs, but they're not the ones that like have the oomph that you got like everyone else has. Basically, like a Skeens, like yeah, I don't know, whomever. Basically, this one like but or even like what's his name? Who the Saleh basically did with the against the Mets yesterday, which is just like surprise. But anyways, the Mets. Actually, I haven't looked at what the. I gotta look and see what the where their standing is against the Phillies. I mean, they don't even have a Wheeler. The sad part is Wheeler is like your dominant pitcher. And the Mets had him. They let him go. Totally understandable. But it would have been great if they made an offer to him. Uh, and Crow Armstrong. I mean, I really. I mean, honestly, it's still a regret. Honestly, like 2020 hindsight. You mean you thought you were going to get someone in return, but the reality is like it it's coming back to hit you, bite you in the ass, basically. If he becomes a superstar, the Mets definitely made a mistake. The Mets are only a game ahead of the Philadelphia Phillies as well too. And so again, the Mets are on a losing streak. 5 games in a row they've lost. Braves, if they sweep the Mets, look for them to start winning again and start coming back because this is the same Braves team that last year and the year before, like they get up there. They can, if they get on a winning streak, they can overtake the Mets as well too. And the Mets might have problems, serious problems, considering the fact that what the Giants just did with the trade, what San Diego's capable of doing, the Dodgers, of course, now with the Cubs and Milwaukee, because like the Cubs with Crow Armstrong. I mean, like this is a surprise what the Cubs are, and let's not be surprised. Let's not forget the Cubs are definitely going to be buyers, so they're going to definitely make some trades for some serious starters to keep them up there at that point. The Brewers, I mean, they are the Brewers, and they can do, they can be up there at that point. The Cardinals, surprisingly, like even though they're 7 games behind the Cubs, um, they still have a shot as well too. Let's be honest, and as well as the Reds. But I'm going to look at really the Brewers and Cubs more than anything else. The Dodgers, Giants, Padres, Mets, Phillies, and Braves. If the Braves get red hot again, this is going to be very an interesting season, put it to say the least. And the Mets can't lose this. If they lose this season, basically The NLCS, it's the NLCS or bust again. If they don't make the NLCS again, there's gonna be some serious issues and then some serious revamping, unfortunately, at that point as well too. But I think the two biggest things right now or three biggest things that the Mets need to look at is basically the starting pitching. They need to get some starters, some relievers here as well too. The bullpen. Two, two is the biggest one. Is basically that third baseman. Vientos is a returning back, but Mauricio, some of the flashes that he's shown, it's good, but it's not consistent, unfortunately. So Mauricio's got to be delegated back down until, and let's be honest, he's gotten the chance. He's gotten the chance to bat, but he's not proving it. So he seems like he's getting overwhelmed at the plate. So he's got to go back down and basically retool himself a little bit. Similar to what's his name is with Acuna as well. I hate to say it's Acuna, as good as he is, defensively speaking, he's got to go back down and learn to hit a little bit more. I don't know, something's up with him basically. That or the Mets need some new hitting coach basically, because I think it comes down to the fact that whenever they come up to the majors, their hitting coach probably changes their stance or whatever it is, and they don't adapt or something like that. I don't know. And the third thing, which is the biggest thing, is as good as Alvarez was, I think it's now become the junior or senior year jinx or something like that, because quite honestly, he's not producing anymore like he was in the first 2 years. He needs to come back and produce again, either designate him back to the minors and let Torrens do whatever he needs to do, because Torrens is decent, but he's not your everyday starter. And the fact is let's be honest, Alvarez, what he did yesterday, those mental lapses caused issues. I'm hoping he learns from it. If he doesn't, well, we got a different story at this point. But in any case, the Mets have three glaring things that they have to take care of: starting pitching, third base, and of course their catching situation as well too. So I guess third base and hitting is a little bit combined between the two. The catching and the catcher situation and the third base situation. I think the hitting is pretty much the biggest thing at that point as well too. If they can get that, so basically pitching and hitting, yes. So which is of course everyone's thing basically, but in this situation, it's those two positions where they need the hitting basically at that point. The pitchers, I mean, you can get away with three pitchers, but they're not lights out dominant. They need at least one dominant pitcher to come in, like a Wheeler. I mean, it would be great if but they're not going to, Philly's never going to trade Wheeler back. It sucks, but it happens. Crow Armstrong, unfortunately, the Mets lost out on the fact that they had a potential superstar in their minors. They traded him away for a cheap rental, which turned out to be nothing at that point. But I don't know. I'll say this basically. We'll have to wait by the trade deadline to see what happens at this point with the Mets, because if they are buyers at this point, they need to do something. And I know Stearns, as good as he is as a team president, and acquiring bits and pieces here, he's gonna have to make a major trade. The fact is he didn't make the major trade for Lindor. He didn't really trade for Soto. They signed him, which makes sense. But if he can make a major trade for pitcher, a dominant pitcher, I just say and get have Marte basically in that package to trade Marte, that'd be great. But yeah, outside of that, I'll leave it at that. Let me know your questions in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts as well too. I do read them all and I do respond to them. With that, I'll leave it at that. Unfiltered, unedited, of course, always unrehearsed. Until next time.